Tourism stakeholders looking forward to capitalize on increased costs by Carnival Cruise Lines for the new cruise season. Grammar school to be fully operational for the first time Monday since Tropical Storm Erika, and an island-wide campaign to rid the country of plastic waste. I am Edona Baptiste with the Channel 5 News. Details coming up. First up, Carnival Cruise Lines will increase calls to the island for the new cruise season since its pullout here in 2010. The 43-year-old American-owned cruise line expects to make 11 calls to Dominica during the 2015-2016 season. 3 Carnival cruise ships will dock at the island's ports for the first time during the period. The cruise season runs from Monday, October 5 until April. Ministry of Tourism hosted a news conference on Friday to update stakeholders on the state of the tourism industry. HHV Whitchurch and Company Limited is the cruise ship's agent.
As most of you will recall, there's been a tremendous clamor from all sectors of the community for Carnival to come back. Well, they are back 11 times. So I really appeal to everybody that we cannot play games with these people. They are the biggest, and when they call at a particular port, others who may have had some doubt would say, well, if Carnival is going there, it must be worthwhile. We will go there as well. So all the bad habits that we're all familiar with, we know exactly what it is. There's no need to mention them today. We need to put them behind us and do not use Tropical Storm Erika as an excuse for our bad behavior and our bad manners.
Dominica upgraded several tourist sites since Carnival Cruise Lines pulled the island off its itinerary, and tourism authorities have been discussing with management how to entice Carnival back to Dominica. As a result, Carnival made a comeback with 2 ships last cruise season. The cruise line usually visited Dominica weekly during the cruise season for the past 21 years since 2010. Carnival cited high fuel costs and passengers complaining of too many port calls on their 7-day route as the basis for dropping Dominica off its schedule. Meantime, the Royal Princess is the first to visit for the season. It will be received at Woodbridge Bay on Monday, followed by a Carnival cruise ship later this month.
The second call will be about the 20th with Carnival Liberty. So we do have a couple more weeks after the 5th to continue to do what we can to make sure that all the sites are really up to mark and are safe. We have, I think it's 9 inaugural calls. That means ships who are coming here for the very first time. And out of that 9, we have 3 carnivals. We have the Carnival Sunshine, Carnival Dream, and Carnival Liberty.
More top stories. Dominica is 80% ready for tourism business this cruise season since Tropical Storm Erika's impact. So says Tourism Minister Robert Tong, who has informed that road access has been restored to all major tourist sites and attractions except for the Victoria Falls in Dalis and Glassy Pool in Boitica. The main road linking Boitica and Dalis was cut off during Storm Erika. A bypass is being constructed in that area. Even as the storm has changed the image of Trafalgar Falls, Emerald Pool and T2 Gorge, based on the feedback, they are now more spectacular.
Most of the popular sites in Dominica remain unaffected, including Emerald Pool, Shodair Pool, Miro Beach, Cabrits National Park, Indian River, the Kalinago Barana Ote, Concord River, Botanical Gardens, Mont Bruce, the Dominica Museum, Old Market, the Bois-Cotlet Estate, Freshwater Lake, Berry Lake, Middleham Falls, Spani Falls, Jacko Falls, Sari Falls, Syndicate Falls.
Access to some other popular sites and attractions will still be challenging.
Access to the Boyden Lake and the Waitikobuli Trail land is challenged in some areas. We still have land slippage on the second half of the trail from the Valley of Desolation to the Boyden Lake, which makes access difficult for the average hiker. So we'd only expect those persons who go in there would have to be serious hikers, and they really need to go there with a professional tour guide to ensure that their lives are not going to be challenged. Additionally, segments 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10 are declared closed of the Waitikobuli National Trail while restoration works underway.
On the other hand, there are 10 properties which are working to reopen shortly, but stayover visitors will no longer have the Delis-based Jungle Bay Resort to look forward to.
77 out of the 88 accommodations we contacted are operational, and 10 are working towards reopening. So in a rough, we're about 80%, and we're hoping by the time the season is in full swing, we should be up to about 90%. 30 of the 35 tour and water sport operators are operational, and the others are working towards resuming operation soon. It's important that the message that we're sending out is a positive message that Dominica is ready for business. Obviously not at 100%, but let's say at 80%.
On the education scene, Dominica Grammar School to be fully operational by Monday. This means all schools on the island will be fully functional for the first time since Tropical Storm Erika. The Minister for Education issued this statement on Friday.
The Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development is pleased to announce the reopening of the first to third forms of the Dominica Grammar School, the Rosa Primary School, and the Petite Savane Primary School on Monday, 5th October 2015. Transportation will be provided for the Petite Savane students coming from the Springfield Guest House. A bus is scheduled to pick up the secondary school students at 6:30 a.m. and the primary school students at 12 noon. All parents of the Rosa Primary School are invited to a very important meeting at the school scheduled for 4 p.m. on Monday, 5th October 2015. All parents of the Dominica Grammar School are also invited to a very important meeting at the school scheduled for 4 p.m. on Monday, 5th October 2015. Instead of 3 different locations, the Pioneer Preparatory School now occupies 1 location on Long Lane opposite to L.A. Dupini. The resumption of classes for the new academic year was delayed due to the passage of Tropical Storm Erika and the subsequent use of schools as temporary shelters. This latest announcement means that all schools on island will be back in operation just over 1 month after the passage of Tropical Storm Erika. We would like to express our sincere thanks to all those who worked with us during the past month to ensure that we were able to open our schools in quick time. The Ministry of Education will continue to work on resolving challenges, and we encourage our school principals, staff, and parents to maximize instructional time and help our students to make up for lost time. I want to wish everyone a very productive school year and anticipate that this will be one of the best that we have seen. Thank you.
In other news, a campaign to pick up plastic waste in communities island-wide will kick off in the Grant Bay Health District this Saturday. The Environmental Health Department and Dominica Solid Waste Management Corporation are partnering to host a plastic day every Saturday.
Because of this storm, a lot of plastic materials enter the country for packaging, bottles, and other means. We at the Environmental Health and Service have flagged this. Actually, we have been assisted by Anita Boli here. Boli is a concerned citizen. She saw so many plastic come into the country that she figured that is an area that we need to flag.
Scotland says Dominicans need to learn to keep their island clean for Dominica, not just visitors.
So at home, we are telling you to store up the plastics in a bag or in a container, all the plastics, and on that specific day, we're going to collect it We'll be coming in the trucks, they'll be blowing the horns and will alert you as to when the collection will take place. So the first collection will be done in the Grand Bay Health District. So we're targeting one of the high areas of disaster. Possession, Bagatelle, Fab, Pichle, Grand Bay, and Tetmont, and Bellevue-Chopin. That catchment area, on Saturday, we'll be sending a couple of trucks in there to collect the plastic. By 9 o'clock in the morning, we start the collection.
Fire and ambulance officers who have been working with the department for several years and are not appointed could soon have more favorable arrangements. The Honorable Minister of Justice, Immigration and National Security, Rayburn Blackmore, addressed fire officers at a handing-over ceremony of 2 ambulances. Blackmore assured fire officers that government was working on improving some of their working conditions.
Let me just say that I'm aware of some of the conditions of work that you currently work under. And we met several months ago in the same location. And during this financial year, we will ensure that the requisite improvement that needs to be done at the building down in Portsmouth to house the officers will be done. And I was also informed, because that's also important, there have been a number of fire officers who have not been appointed for the past 9 years. And I've been so informed that that too has been addressed.
He also assured them that he would do all within policy that's allowed to ensure that they get the tools of the trade required to deliver critical services.
Having been advised by the Permanent Secretary and the Acting Fire Chief at the time that the issue of so many persons in temporary positions not being appointed are actually being addressed. And that also, I also want to make reference to the number of acting positions that, of course, have to be addressed going forward.
Meanwhile, the emergency buses costing over $300,000 are the 60th and 61st that will be posted at the Lap Lane and Roseau Health District. Blackmore says by the end of October 2015, they will be equipped with an additional ambulance.
I've been so advised that already we have most of the monies for the procurement of a new bus, and that bus will be retrofitted using some of the equipment that we have on the one that was involved in a vehicular traffic accident. And I was advised that can be done within 1 week. But we know how things operate sometimes within our environment. So let us give ourselves 1 month for this new ambulance for the sensitive district.
The fire and ambulance service has had 61 buses over a 37-year period. You're watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, Council on Aging benefits from post-Erika relief. Stay with us. Welcome back. DOWASCO now needs in excess of 50 million EC dollars to fully restore and safeguard its operations. Prime Minister Skerrit made the revelation in his address this week. All of DOWASCO's 44 systems for potable water and 3 centralized sewage systems were impacted by Tropical Storm Erika. Intakes were blocked with large boulders and silt from land slippage. Concrete infrastructure at intake pipes were completely destroyed across the island. Access roads to intakes and storage facilities as well as pipe routes were washed away. Pipelines have been exposed and undermined in several areas, especially on the newly completed West Coast and the ongoing Bells, Penrise, Sylvina and Layu Park projects. Pipe support has been broken and carried away by rivers. The impact of the storm also changed the course of many rivers, diverting them away from the intake structures. But Prime Minister Skerrit has commended DOWASCO for its restoration efforts.
Areas north of Portsmouth and the town of Portsmouth were the first to be restored, followed by the areas of Point Michel and Loubaix. As I speak to you, restoration works are still ongoing in the areas of Pichle, Granby, Wesley, Woodfordale, Marigot, Girondale, Dubla, Bioche, Coulibistri, and Bacatel Fonseja and Fab. These restorations are still temporary, and it must be noted that the systems are very vulnerable to even mild weather conditions.
20 collapsible portable water storage tanks have been provided by Japan, while the WASCO has provided 9 tanks deployed in various communities and at schools where water supply is not yet restored.
The Red Cross also provided assistance by installing a temporary water filtration plant in the community of Coulibistri with a production capacity of 29,000 gallons daily. The WASCO has 2 water trucks with capacity of 1,000 and 2,000 gallons respectively. The WASCO has also been using the services of 4 private water trucks. These trucks are assigned to deliver water to the communities where the water supply is not yet restored on a daily basis.
Works done to restore water to communities to date amount to almost $4 million.
President of the Dominica Council on Aging says their most recent donation will greatly benefit members of the association.
On Thursday, the Dominica Council on Aging DCOA received 2 wheelchairs, blankets, tabletop stoves, rubber boots, and kerosene stoves. The donation came from Regina Walsh, Councillor for Ward 4.
As you know, that there are a number of elderly persons who are homebound, who are bedbound and wheelchair bound, and some of them really need, at least with the wheelchair, they can get out of bed and be able to move around, at least in the home itself. So that comes in very handy for the elderly. And we want to assure Mrs. Walsh that these items will be distributed to persons who are in need.
These items were given to me from Sister Pond at Reach, and she has asked that I go out to the communities and to deliver to people who are in need. And I feel that on Council of Aged, they would really know who are the persons who are really in need.
Meanwhile, the DCOA president made an appeal on behalf of elderly persons affected by Tropical Storm Erika.
One of the things that happened to them, they become incontinent. Even those who are not incontinent, some of them become incontinent. And one of the areas that we are in dire need of is adult disposable diapers, or Pampers, as we call them. So I'm throwing that in because this is a need we have, and if anyone out there knows and can donate this item, then we would very much appreciate that from the council.
Thursday was recognized as the International Day of Older Persons.
Children Heart Fund has received a sizable donation from one of its loyal local supporters.
At a ceremony on Friday, Big Edge Financial Express, a small financial services business, donated a generous sum to the foundation. Dr. Rhonda McIntyre is president of the Children Heart Fund of Dominica. This foundation seeks to provide financial and medical assistance for children afflicted with severe ailments and in dire need of surgery.
The Children's Heart Fund is a foundation which caters to children, underprivileged children who suffer from heart conditions. We have now expanded it because there's so many kids with different ailments that it's now a gift from the heart. So we look at it as caring.
This year's donation to Children Heart Fund amounted to $2,000. In past years, the fund has been receiving donations of $1,000 from this small loans entity. Big Edge Financial Express also gave back to its customers through a back-to-school promotion hosted during the summer.
The first prize will be receiving a tablet and $1,500. The second prize will be receiving a tablet and $1,000, and the third prize will be receiving $500.
Dr. says the company is committed to fulfilling its corporate responsibility.
Despite the fact that our files for requests and assistance is probably this big, despite the fact the size of the files of our approval of assistance will be this big, and despite the fact the size of our files of acknowledgement and thanks is this big. But despite that, as I said, we continue to make our contribution because we believe giving is much more noble than receiving. We want to ensure that we'll never, ever just be on the lookout for profits at the expense of providing assistance to our Dominican people. This is paramount in our goals and our aims. So again, we want to thank the populace for the support.
Big Edge Financial Express also offers the Billy Doctorow Sports Scholarship on an annual basis.
Sports is next with Lurian Graham Carter.
The annual Billy Doctorow Sports Scholarship to offer double that of the government of Dominica. At a Big Edge presentation on Friday, Janelle Phillip of Wesley walked away with a $1,000 scholarship. $500 will go towards books and the remainder to miscellaneous school and sporting expenses. The awardee showed exemplary performance in netball, table tennis, and track and field. Doctorow says the scholarship is dependent on the athlete's excellence in academics and sports. Former coordinator responsible for setting up of the National Sports Council has described his experience as productive, meaningful, and manageable. Joseph Thomas says the onus is now on the relevant authorities to decide when the council will begin operations.
Organizing and getting things going for National Sports Council for Dominica. My work on that has concluded. It's left now for the authorities to do what they have to do. There will always be, really, but those are not some things that hurdles I were not able to cross.
And Big Edge to maintain its corporate social responsibility as it supports various sporting disciplines in Dominica. Retired elite cricket umpire Billy Doctorow says despite his involvement in cricket, his willingness to assist athletes is not limited to any one sport.
We have been running the youth tennis tournament from last year. It was very successful, and we fully sponsor the National Netball Championship, and we have been doing that for the past 2 years. Again, netball, we have assist athletes, Luan Gabriel, who is on a scholarship now in Maryland, and we also assisted Jani Angol from Granby with a brand new javelin that she wanted. She was a national javelin champion.
Controversy facing West Indies cricket as coach Phil Simmons voiced his opinion on his preference for team selection. A retired cricket umpire shares his thoughts on the matter.
What he considers to be his best team, and to him he considered that Bravo and Pollard would enhance his team. Any coach would want to know that he's going to be the strongest team. So he's saying that that he didn't get his best team because of outside interference. How he reacted to it, I thought it was inappropriate. I apologize now. So on reflection, I'm sure that he's saying that he has been an error.
Slamming down in Domino Thursday night was Melvinus with 67 doors, 3 points. Call for Duty, 67 doors, 2 points, and Strikers, 55 doors, 1 point. Melvinus won by 6s. The second game saw Martians with 86 doors, 3 points, Weendat, 74 doors, 2 points, and Babi with 67 doors, 1 point. The final game of the night had Hurt Them and Giants with 3 points each.
Scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms predicted for Friday afternoon, but what can we expect this weekend? Your weather report is next. That's news. To end the news, the headlines again. Tourism stakeholders looking forward to capitalize on increased calls by Carnival Cruise lines for the new cruise season. Grammar school to be fully operational for the first time Monday since Tropical Storm Erika, and an island-wide campaign to rid the country of plastic waste. A reminder that you can watch the news on YouTube, and feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. On behalf of the production team, I am Dominica Baptiste. Thanks for watching. Great weekend.